Hello everyone, welcome back to this amazing lecture where we were learning about Java full stack development and we were learning about how to become a Java full stack developer. So let us have a quick recap of the previous sessions. Previous session we understood basically how can we become a Java full stack developer. We saw about the entire dynamic course content that we had. We also understood what is a programming language. For the ones who have been looking into these videos and this lecture as a fresher or as a non-IT proficient. Now we understood what a programming language is, and we also understood the different generations of programming language. We understood the difference between high level language and a low level language. And we also learned about the difference between C language and Java language. And now today we'll learn and understand about this dynamic language that is Java. So from today and further lectures we'll be learning about Java programming language. And I hope you all will sync with me the way you synced with me in the previous sessions. So now, let us understand what is Java. So if anybody comes to you and asks you, what is Java? What will you answer them? You will simply answer them that Java is a programming language. What is Java? Java is a programming language. I'm just writing L for the language part. So what is Java? Java is a programming language which uses the OOPS concept, object oriented programming language, or OOPS we call it, which means object oriented programming. So Java is a programming language which uses OOPS concept. Don't worry, we'll get into this also in a little bit detail. But yes, apart from that, what does Java do? Apart from that, Java, how I define it is, Java is a programming language which follows the OOPS concept and also is a platform. Okay, and is also a platform. Now when I say platform, what do I mean? What do I mean when I say platform? Now many people will have a misconception. They might think since Java is a platform independent language, that is what I mean here. But you can be similar to that. When I say platform, I simply mean, it's simple, right? Java has its own runtime environment. Java has its own runtime environment to execute the codes. Has its own sets of libraries, own development toolkit. And that is the reason why Java is a platform. Java is a platform. So this is how I generally categorize Java into. Java is a programming language which uses the OOPS concept, and yes, it is also a platform. It is also a platform. Now Java might have cut this part. Now, Java has a very big market industry. 3 million and more. Now, I think it's in billions. Many people use Java. Many people use Java for their work. Many people do the projects, their industry-based services, their IT services work. Everything using the dynamic language called Java. Right? So, yes. Are you ready to get inside Java? Because I am ready to take you inside Java. And here we will learn the basics first and then get more deep into it. So what will be the course flow for all of you if you ask me? We will learn the backend first completely. Then we'll do the database. Then we'll go to the frameworks of backend. And yes, after all of that, we will move to the front end and wind up the course after a project. Is that clear? Yes, that is very much clear to all of you. Thank you. Now, let us move forward and understand, few basic concepts of history of Java. Now, when I say history of Java, right, what do? Yes, we time travel and go back to the history. So now we are into the history, right? We are into the history. History of what? History of Java. Now, you might ask me, why is it important to understand this history of Java? It is important to understand the history of Java because, multiple times in the interview when you go, people ask you these questions and maximum people are unanswerable, right? Because you don't have adequate knowledge about the history of Java, correct? So if I need to ask you, what is the history of Java? What will you tell me? Maximum people have always told me, it was once called Oak, right? It was launched by James Gosling, right? It was launched by James Gosling, Sun Microsystems, Oracle, and all of the things that you'll tell me. But we have to go in depth of all of that. We have to go in depth of all of that and understand what is the actual reason Java language was made and introduced. So, let's go and understand. So, what happened in 1991, okay? In 1991, there was a team, okay, called the Green Team. What was this team? It was the Green Team, okay? It was the Green Team. Now, who was leading this Green Team? James Gosling was leading this Green Team. James Gosling was leading this Green Team, okay? Now, Green Team was a part of Sun Microsystems. Green Team was a part of what? It was a part of Sun Microsystems. Okay, Green Team was a part of Sun Microsystems, which later Sun Microsystems was acquired by Oracle. Okay, but yeah, that is little later on. Let us get back to the history again. So this Green Team was a part of Sun Microsystems, and this Green Team were working on a project. What were they working on? They were working on a project. Okay, they were working on a project, and who was leading the team? James Gosling and his team members were there, two more. So they were working on this particular project. Now, what project were they working on? They were working on a project called Green Talk. What was the name of that particular project? It was Green Talk. Okay, what was it? It was Green Talk. So yes, what was that? That was, the project name was Green Talk. By whom? By the Green Team. Okay, by the Green Team, led by whom? We all know it now, James Gosling. Okay, so what was this Green Talk all about? What was this Green Talk all about? So when we talk about this term called Green Talk, we basically mean to say James Gosling and his team were working on a project when? I've told you when? 1991. They started from 1991 with a motive to create simple, robust language which can help them to manage, the TV connection, the set-top boxes and all of that easily. Right? So with that motive, the telecommunication motive, right? TV, cable lines, okay, and set-top boxes and all of that. So with that mindset, they came out with this language called Green Talk. Now they found out this Green Talk is very highly qualified for what they wanted to actually achieve. So they understood this Green Talk was highly qualified language for what they actually wanted to achieve. And they understood they could do many things with that. So they then gave it a extension .gt. So this Greentalk was officially launched and it is given an extension .gt. Okay, now later on, when they said that they needed to upgrade, they changed this name to Oak. And that's why maximum people say Java was also called as Oak language. Now why did they do and keep the name Oak is because oak tree was a symbol of strength in the Europe, in few of the European, countries and USA as well. So oak tree symbolizes strength and it is also their national tree. Okay, so they wanted to symbolize this language as strength, as a strong language, and hence they named it Oak. Now you might think that if they named it Oak, again but what was the need for them? What was the need for them to change this name into something else? Change this name to something else. Yes. Now what they found out, that there already was a company called Oak Technologies and it was a registered one. Right? It was a registered one and they were facing that copyright issue with the Oak name. They were facing the copyright issue with this Oak name. So what they did, they then again did some brainstorming and they sat down, they did the brainstorming for choosing a new name for their language. And then in 1995, they officially named it as Java. Now before naming it as Java, I'll tell you why the word, from where this Java word also came in. Okay, so what happened, they were sitting and they were discussing about names. So they got few suggestions internally like Silk, like Revolutionary, like Java and few more. But you know what they loved? The most preferred language for them was Revolutionary was just cut this part, so they understood there were three options for them: Silk, Java and, as I said, Revolutionary. Revolutionary. So out of these three, they didn't like this name and they were only focusing on Silk and Java. And finally, they named it as Java because the very moment Jim Goslings was having a coffee, and that time, the highest production of coffee was done in Indonesia in a place called Java. And hence they kept the name Java and everybody loved it. And that is why if you see the logo of Java, you have a cup of coffee with mists coming up. So yes, this is the history of Java. So now we know what was the history of Java, and now we understand that it is catering a lot of people with that amazing history, right? Just for the need of set-top boxes or telecommunication, they created a Greentalk language which now has become Java, and it is so dynamic that everybody in this world is using this language. Correct? Now let us understand few more things. Let us understand the versions of Java. Now when I say versions of Java, I also mean the evolution that we are catering for Java. So we have many versions of Java. Previously when it started, we started with Java 1 and then Java SE 2 and then we came with Java Development Toolkit. And currently, if you ask me, the latest version of Java is Java 18.0.1.1. So basically 18 is the current new version of Java and we call it JDK. What do we call it? We call it JDK 18.0.1.1. Don't worry, I'll show you from where you can download this file as well. But let us understand what happens. You might not knew this, So every year we get 2 upgradations to JDK file. Every year. Imagine that nowadays. So every March 1 upgrade comes, and every September 1 upgrade comes. So in March 2022 we got 18, and we all know in September 2022 we will have JDK 19, right? We will have JDK 19. So also you can imagine with that this, we are going with an even and odd formula. Every March, what are we doing? We're getting an even number, and every September we are getting an odd number. So this is a version and upgradations of Java, the latest features. But maximally, if you ask me, still in today's world, people commonly use 2 versions of Java more. The maximum used version is Java or JDK 8. The reason is because that JDK 8 had the maximum and the best of its upgradations. Okay, and that is why most of the people are using that version, and Java version 10. So these 2 are the most used versions of JDK or Java. Okay, so now let us move and understand applications of Java. So whenever I say about applications of Java, we have to understand where are these Java programs running, what are the use of Java programs, which segment these Java programs or Java as a language is used. That is what an application is for us, right? So let us understand. Okay, Java applications. Okay, let's talk about Java applications. Now let's come 1, let's make this as 2, let's make this as 3, and let's make this as 4, and all are clear to all of you. Okay, now let us start with the first application. See, generally we have many applications of Java, okay, but we have 4 basic and most used applications of Java, and that 4 applications we'll be discussing here today, okay, in this particular lecture. So the first one that we have is standalone, okay, standalone or desktop application. Now what do we mean when I say standalone or desktop application? As I said, Java is a programming language which is used to do a lot of things. So here when I say desktop or standalone applications, we are creating web, or not basically web, we are creating system applications. When I say system applications, I mean to say applications that will be running into your system, right? Let me give you an example and you will understand what I'm trying to say. So for this, what do we have as an example? We have Acrobat Reader. We have Acrobat Reader. We have antiviruses. Okay, we have antiviruses. So all these are made by which language? Are made by Java language. Right? These applications that you are using in your desktop or your system, these applications are made by which language? Are made by Java language. So this is one area of application where you can use Java language into. So for this we use basically few services like AWT or Swing, okay, for Java, but we'll not be focusing more on this. We'll be focusing more on what is the next application. We'll be focusing on web-based, okay, web-based applications. Now we understood what a desktop application is. Anything that is into your system and you're using it is your desktop application, and that application is made by Java language. But now when we talk about this web-based applications, what are these web-based applications? Whenever we talk about web-based applications, we are talking about hosting a server, okay, creating a website application which is easier for you to understand and which is secure and everything. I'll give you one example and you all will be syncing with me right now. Okay, so the best example for this is irctc.co.in. IRCTC, guys. When I talk about IRCTC, It's the biggest platform in India where the data is stored. Imagine crores and crores of data every day they are catering. Every single day. And imagine the network it has. Imagine the network connection it has inside itself. The security, if any single data is lost, what will happen? IRCTC has a lot of data. And the best part is, even if today you have to book your tickets, railway tickets, from maybe a vendor or from maybe a different third party app, or maybe it is from IRCTC, you can only do it using IRCTC login ID and password. You can only book a ticket using your IRCTC login ID and password. So just imagine the integration IRCTC had to do. Imagine the security it has. Imagine the number of data it is catering every day. So this IRCTC is been built completely by Java technologies, frameworks and language. Java technology, framework and language. So this is a web-based application where you have the back end, you have the front end, the database as well, right? That is what we will be covering in this entire course as well. Okay, course as well. And this is one big area where Java is used. This is one of the big area where Java is used. Now let's go to the third one. The third one is enterprise. Enterprise based applications. Okay, the third one is enterprise based applications. So what do we do in enterprise based applications is, here we basically cater the organizational need of an application or management systems. If I need to tell you, what do we have here? What do we have here? Let us give you an example. We have the banking management system. Okay, so we have this banking management system. This entire system is built by which language? Java language. It is built by Java language. Now what do you mean by this management system? What do we do in this management system is, just imagine the number of data the banks cater in today's generation, right? Who has an access to that portal, who has not an access to that portal, the security, your money, your digital money, everything is catered with banking management system. Who gets an access to what, who is doing what, everything. And similarly, we have library management systems, we have billing management systems, we have shopping mall management systems, and we have a lot of management systems that comes into your enterprise based applications. Okay, now last but not the least, as I always say, because there are more applications, I'll just give you a hint about all those also. The last one is mobile. Okay, mobile based applications. I'm just writing app dot. Okay, now to give you an example, okay, mobile based applications, we all know about Android apps, Android Studio. Okay, most of its work was also done. This entire structure was made by which language? Was made by Java language. The most of it, not all, but the most of it. Even Java was used for that. So okay, even in today's time, if you are creating a mobile based applications, both Android and Java work hands in hands. Both of it work hands in hands, and then you create a mobile application. So Java language is used in so many avenues. If you see, this entire board itself that I have written is very small, right? Because we also have robotics. Okay, we also have smart cards, all the smart cards that you have, and many more applications, So now you have an idea where this Java is used. What do we do? Now out of all of these, web-based applications and enterprise-based applications is something that is catered most using the Java language. That is catered most using the Java language. Then we have the mobile applications, and then comes the standalone or desktop applications. So now you know what we will be learning and what kind of structure we are going to create and what are the areas where Java is used basically. Okay, so yes, next we'll be learning about platforms in Java. So yeah, now as I said, we'll be talking about the platforms that we have in Java. Okay, we'll talk about the platforms in Java. So again, let me bring that amazing chart. Okay, and since you've done the applications of Java, this won't be difficult for you to understand. Okay, just think with me again. So the first one that we have is Java SE, or we call it Java Standard Edition. Okay, so this is nothing but Java SE, or let's make it a full form, Java Standard Edition. Okay, so this basically includes all your fundamental concepts of Java, the coding and everything that you do, right? All of that is done with the help of Java Standard Edition. So inside Java Standard Edition platform, what you can do learn the basic concepts of Java, you can do the coding, you can create multiple coding programs and all of that. That's basically what Java Standard Edition is. You have multiple packages, libraries and all of that. Now the second one that we have is Java EE, or we also call it Java 2 EE. Okay, now what is Java EE? Java EE is nothing but it is Java Enterprise Edition. Okay, it's nothing but Java Enterprise Edition. Now when I talk about Java Enterprise Edition, this basically has all those frameworks, those additional details that is required, right, to create a dynamic web app based applications or enterprise based applications. So this is Java Enterprise Edition. Now the third one that we have is Java ME. The third one that we have is Java ME. Now as the name, you can guess it, it is nothing but Java Mobile Edition. Okay, it is nothing but Java Mobile Editions, which helps you to build mobile applications. And now, last but not the least, again, what do we have? We have this called Java FX. We have Java FX. Now if you want to build rich, okay, if you want to build rich internet, if you want to build rich internet applications, okay, we use Java FX. So here we will be morely focusing on Java SE Edition and Java EE Edition. Okay, in our course we'll be focusing more on Java SE Edition and Java EE Edition. So yes, these are multiple platforms that is provided to you. By whom? By JDK or Java. Okay, by whom? By JDK or Java. I hope this is clear to all of you. Okay, now we understood the applications of Java, we understood the platforms of Java. Now let us talk about the features of Java. Why and what makes Java unique? Okay, we'll be talking about features of Java, and there are multiple features in Java. The first one we have is simple. Java is very simple language. It's simple to understand, right? It's simple to understand. It is also a high level language, right? Next, what we have is it is a robust language. As the word itself, robust means strong management, integrity it has. It's a very strong management. It has good strength. It's secure. Right? It's secure. It's object oriented. We have many features of Java, guys. Many features of Java. Right? It's object oriented. It's simple. It's high level. It's robust. It's secure. Right? It's portable. Right? It's a platform independent language. It's a platform independent language. So, and many more. So we have many features in Java, and that is why we frame it into one word, that yes, Java is a dynamic language. Java is a dynamic programming language. So now you're thinking with me why we call Java as a dynamic programming language. Imagine banking systems have big security issues, right? IRCTC has data issue, and Java is solving all of that with all its features that it has. So it's creating antiviruses as well. You can create antivirus using Java. So it is a dynamic language in itself, right? So now we understand the features that Java gives us, the features that it has. There is many more features, like it's architectural neutral and many more. But these are the basic features that it gives us. It's simple, it's high level, it's robust, it's secure, it's object oriented, it's portable, and it is platform independent. We know what are the features of Java. Application where Java is used. Java in itself is an amazing language, isn't it now? Isn't it a dynamic language? We can do a lot of things with Java. Now let us understand the architecture of Java, right? So what is the architecture of Java? When I say architecture, I don't mean what it is, right? I'm talking about three basic things: JVM, JRE, and JDK. Okay, JVM, JRE, and JDK. So what is a JVM? I can't listen to you. A little louder. Yes, you're audible now. JVM is nothing but, let's say together, Java Virtual Machine. Correct. You guys are right. You guys have good knowledge. Now when we talk about JRE, what is it again? Let's talk together. It is nothing but Java. Yes, it is runtime. Amazing. It's an environment. It's a Java runtime environment. Last but not least, again, what is JDK? JDK is again nothing but, yes, again, help me through, guys. It is Java. Yes, it is development kit. Thank you for helping me solve these questions. So yes, Java has these architectures: JVM, JRE, JDK. Now let us understand all of that in detail. Let us talk about JVM first. JVM is nothing but Java Virtual Machine. So what is the role of JVM? Okay, it is a specification, okay, which helps your runtime environment, okay, to execute, okay, and compile a bytecode in Java programming. So it is what? It is a specification that helps your runtime environment to execute that bytecode it is having. So that is all about Java Virtual Machine. And yes, it does not physically exist. It is virtually existable. Okay, this is our virtual machine. So this is JVM. Now let us talk about JRE. What is a JRE? JRE is a Java runtime environment. So Java runtime environment provides us with, okay, few sets of libraries and tools to develop an application. So let us understand one structure. Let us say that this is my JVM and I have added few sets of libraries to it. Okay, for example, let's say rt.jar file. Okay, and I've added other tools to it as well. Now all of these, when I join all of this, what do I get? I get JRE. So when I combine all of these, what it is JRE. So JVM is inside my JRE, and JVM plus sets of libraries and other tools make Java runtime environment. Now we definitely need these sets of libraries for making a dynamic code, for helping out to create a dynamic code. Okay, now you might ask me, what is a JDK then? JDK, as we all know, it's a development toolkit, Java development kit we call it. Now whenever I talk about JDK, we also have to understand that JDK comprises of everything. So your JVM plus your JRE plus the set of libraries and other tools, inclusive of what? The development tools. The development tools like what? Like Java to find the Java class, Java C compiler, okay, Java documentation, Java doc, and many more. So all of these make development tools. So anything that is used to develop the code, we call it as development tools, right? Now all of these together makes my JDK or Java development kit. That is the reason why we say that if you only install the JDK file before working on Java programming, you are set, because by default that will also download a JVM and a JRE for you. Now remember, JDK and JRE physically exist, okay? This does not exist physically, but JRE and JDK exist physically. Okay, now let us understand one thing. Okay, let us say that I'm including all of this and I'm just talking about JDK. Or let me just divide it in three things: JDK, JVM, JRE and JDK. So this is one side, okay, this is at one side, and we have Java programming language, okay, Java programming language at the other side. Okay, now we all know that Java programming language is platform independent. Okay, we all know that Java programming language is platform independent. Okay, now my question to all of you is my JVM, JRE, JDK also independent, platform independent? No, I knew you guys would have made a mistake. This is not platform independent, rather it is platform dependent. Okay, rather it is platform dependent. Now you might ask me, why, if the programming language is independent, why is this toolkit platform dependent? The reason is because each and every system has a different configuration, a different operating systems, right? And once you install that in that particular operating system or to that particular configured system, this JDK file or this JRE or JVM reacts to that system differently. So that is why it is platform dependent. It depends on that particular system's configuration and operating system. Whereas Java programming language does not need anything. It only needs its JDK file, its architecture. That's why we also call this WORA, write once, run everywhere. Write once, run anywhere. We call it WORA, W-O-R-A, and that was also the motto of Java programming language. So now I hope you are clear with what JVM, JRE and JDK is. And yes, not to worry, in the coming lectures I'll also show you how you can install, or from where you can install this JDK file. So yes, now we understood what Java is: a platform independent language, and JVM, JRE and JDK are platform dependent architecture of Java. right? Now let us move ahead and get little bit into the Java programming core parts. As in, I'm talking about the object-oriented programming concepts. Okay? Object-oriented programming concepts. Okay? Now whenever I talk about object-oriented programming concepts, what do I say or mean is simple. It is divided into 6 things. Let us understand. The first one is, of course, objects. Second one, we talk about class. Third one, we talk about, okay, inheritance. Fourth one, we talk about polymorphism. Fifth is abstraction. Okay, fifth is abstraction, and last but not the least, again, what do we have? We have encapsulation. Now let us talk about each and everything in detail. What do you mean by objects? What is an object? If I need to tell you, object is nothing but it is, okay, a set, it is an entity, let us make it that way. It is an entity that has, okay, it is an entity that has a state or a behavior. Okay, let us say for an example, we have a, let's say, car. My car is my object. Why? Because my car can be of different companies. It can be of different company. Okay, this company might be its attributes. It can be of different color, right? It can be automatic, it can be manual, right? It can be of diesel or it can be of petrol, correct? And the pricing may vary. So the models might vary. So what is my car? My car is an object which has a different behavior or a state. And you can have multiple objects in a single class with a different state or behavior. Okay, now let's understand what a class is. So as I said, a class is nothing but it's an instance of objects. When I say it is an instance of objects, I mean to say multiple objects combined together to make one class. So one class can have multiple objects. Okay, this class basically defines, okay, this class basically defines, you can say a room. Let us say this room, okay, or let us say your room. Your room is a class. Now that class can have multiple objects like your chair, okay, your sofa, your TV, your laptop, and many other things, your bed, because all those objects will have different state and behavior. So what is your class? Your class is your room. Now, what is inheritance? Now to understand inheritance, simply understand or think about yourself. Okay, who are you? Okay, who are you? You are a product, let me make it that way, of whom? Of your mother and father. So what have you got from them? You have got few attributes of your mother, you have got few attributes of your father, and then you were produced, right? So you have an attributes of both, and what you did, you inherited them. You inherited those attributes from your parents, and then you were made, right? So that is what inheritance basically means. Inheriting, okay, the attributes, or inheriting the properties, let us say that way. Okay, let us say that way, inheriting the properties from your parent class. That is all about inheritance. Now we have polymorphism. What do we have? We have polymorphism. Polymorphism is nothing but if a single task Okay, let us understand. If a single task is done in different ways, okay, if a single task is done in different ways, we call that as polymorphism. We call that as polymorphism. For example, okay, let us say there is a salesman. You're walking by a footpath and a salesman comes to you and he tries to sell his product to you. If you are saying no, 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 he'll still be behind you, and he'll try to put in different formulas or ways to tell you to buy it. As in, like, let us say an example of a belt. He will try to squeeze the belt, he will try to hit the belt in the floor, he will try to tell you it is so good, it is this finish, it is that finish, there is this color, it is of this matte finish, okay, it's of leather, it's of non-leather, and it's cheap, and whatever it is. So he'll try to sell that one thing. So what is that one thing for him? He has one task to sell that product, but he's doing that in different ways, right? He's doing that in different ways. So a single task, if you do in different ways, is what polymorphism is all about. Okay, is what polymorphism is all about. Now we have abstraction. Now what is abstraction? It is nothing but you're hiding important details, okay, hiding of important details and showing only the functionality, showing of functionality, okay, showing of functionality. So you're just hiding important details and you're just showing functionalities. Okay, what do you mean to say is abstractions helps you to hide the important details and just show the functionality. For example, let us say a phone call. If I want to make a phone call to anybody, let us say you. If I make a phone call to you, what will you do? You'll just take the phone call, just click and say hello and you're done. Okay, so that is only the functionality that is shown to you, but we don't know how that integration actually happens, the internal part, right? That is hiding of the important details. That's hiding the important details. Okay, so we don't know those details, the terms and conditions, or basically coding that how that infrastructure could be made, that from a mobile phone, if I tap your number, I can call you. Correct? All I do is just tap the numbers and I call. That's showing of the functionality but not the details. So that is what abstraction is all about. Now last but not the least, we have encapsulation. Okay, so what is encapsulation is, okay, it is binding of data, and it's the binding of data and the storage into one single unit, okay, into one single unit. Now let us say an example that you have two things. Let us take an example of a capsule. Okay, let us take an example of a capsule. A capsule is always divided into two parts, right? A capsule is divided into two parts. Let us say this is the blue colored part, okay? It's the blue colored part, and let us say it is the red colored part. Now, this red colored part might have different information, this blue colored part might have different information. So the binding of your data and the storage is called encapsulation. Okay, now both the data are binded, both the units are binded and is into a single unit, is into a single capsule or a single unit. So that is what is encapsulation, encapsulating both the different things and producing it in a single unit. That is your encapsulation. And these are the basic concepts of object-oriented programming, okay, language. And yes, don't worry, all of these we will be learning in further lectures when we go to the advancement of Java. So yes guys, here we end our second lecture, and hope you're following it and you're understanding it perfectly. And yes, I'll see you in the next lecture, and we'll start off with little bit of coding and little bit of basics of programming language, that is Java. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next lecture.